Yeah. What's up? You are once again on Compete Street. This is the point after. We're no longer out of bounds. We are the point after. And I'm feeling it. I'm feeling it.
I like that feel. I like that feel.
I'm your host, TD Berry. My co-host, Deezy.
Yes, boy, Deezy. What's going on? What's going on? Another day. We here.
Another day. Another dollar deeper in debt. All right, so we are the day after the NFL Conference Championships. Super Bowl 52 is set, which I'm sure we all know now. And it was one good game, one not so good game.
I can't see that.
Me and you, Deezy, we both went 1-1 on our predictions yesterday.
Yeah, we took the split. I feel like I got jerked out of it, but we take that. We'll take that.
All right, so let's get into it then. Since you think you got jerked, I think that was the first game yesterday, so we're gonna get right into that one. Jaguars at the Patriots, AFC Conference Championship. Deezy, tell me what you think about it.
Oh man, it was a great game. That's all I can say. It's a great game. That's number one. But I will say this: two things I gotta add. Number one, I'm tired of the Patriots. I usually don't get into this. I'm kind of sick and tired of the Patriots. I was really hoping to see the Jags pull this one off. They should have pulled it off. The Patriots had a little bit of help, in my opinion. I don't know if you agree with me, TD. They had a little bit of help, but all around, it was a great game.
Mm-hmm. So, the Jaguars, like you said, they should have won. I personally didn't think they played 60 minutes. I think they might have played more like 55, 50.
That sounds about accurate.
And another thing is, as their defense was doing good the whole game, their defense did great. They were physical. They was knocking Tom Brady around, and they knocked Gronk out of the game. But the whole time I'm thinking, and I mean, we watched the game together. I'm thinking in my head like their offensively isn't doing enough to put it away.
Yeah.
I mean, they went up 10. They did go up 10 in the fourth. I don't know. I still wasn't convinced. Like, a part of me in the back of my mind was saying, like, this isn't enough. They need another score. And they didn't get it. And the Patriots would score 14 straight.
Yeah. If I'm not mistaken, I think you called it. Either you called it or I called it at halftime. The play call, when we saw the play calling, it just seemed like, okay, you can't settle against the Patriots. It seemed like they were settling for what they had, and what they had, it was good what they had. But you can't be good against the Patriots. You got to be great. You got to be beyond great. And the play calling, it dwindled down a little bit. They stopped being aggressive. Oh man, it sucks. It sucks. Not to take anything away from the Patriots. We like we say all the time. Like I say, it's business as usual with them. And it was a good game, man. It was a good game. But the first half and the second half, it told a few stories. And regardless of my opinion about the refs, which is up in the air, it's definitely not a fact. It's definitely my opinion about about the refs, taking a hold of this game. It's not blatant, so I can't say it's like they got cheated, but
Well, let's talk about that with the refs, because there was a couple of questionable things that happened in the game that someone might feel as though the refs were in the Patriots' favor. So you have the concussion, the unnecessary roughness, which, I mean, to us, when they slowed it down, you could see he led with his shoulder, but in real time, it probably, looked more like a bang-bang play to the refs.
Yeah.
I didn't agree with the call once they slowed it down, but I guess you can't be too upset with them doing it. You had the fumble. You had the fumble along the sidelines that was blown dead. That would have been a return for a touchdown.
You had the. I'm mostly upset with the pass interference call. It's not that I'm upset with it on AJ Bouye and the call on the ground kick. I wouldn't be as upset with the call if it was called that way all game. You see it in the second half, multiple times, we were looking at it as just playoff football because the Patriots were pretty aggressive on defense. They were pretty aggressive, and they were all over the Jaguars receivers' backs and tight ends' backs. And a couple of times I said, wow, no flag. I said, hey, that's the way it's getting called. So that's the only part I'm upset about because it didn't get called properly the correct way both ways. If it would have got called evenly, had no problem with it, just be consistent. They got to be consistent with it,
Well, the consistency that you was talking about is the Jaguars got called for 6 penalties for 98 yards, and the Patriots only got called for 1 to 10. That's the consistency that you're speaking of. That's a big gap. That's definitely a big gap. And there were a couple other calls that seemed a little questionable. But you definitely don't want to make that the blame if you're the Jaguars, especially not knowing that you didn't close the show. And then on that final drive where they had the chance to do something, and then you remember Blake Bortles, he passed down the sideline to Fournette, but he had the room to run.
Oh man, where was it? Oh man, that's inconsistency, man. We were just talking about this guy. They took advantage of. They just took advantage of who did they play the first match when he ran for more yards than he passed for? They took advantage of. Excuse me. Was that the Chiefs? Who did they play? The Bills. Excuse me. He took advantage of his leg with his legs on that game, and it seemed like he was really, hesitant to run the ball against the Patriots. I don't know why, because they're not known as a strong hitting team, or maybe they're kind of opportunistic. But I don't understand why he didn't take the opportunity. But
he had a good 8 yards of grass in front of him.
Easy.
And then what happens the very next play? He fumbles. And that was it.
That's the way it goes. Business as usual for the Patriots. We had the Patriots back at it again. I'm tired of it, but hey, man, greatness, man. You can't. You always get tired of greatness, I guess, man. But once again, they're here. They're in there. Got a 40-year-old Tom Brady trying to get his 6th Super Bowl in 16 years, is it?
17, 16, 17.
That's crazy, man. That's crazy.
And Brady, for him to have a injured hand, he played pretty good. But being as though he had people in his face, he was getting knocked around.
Oh man, they was putting the paws on him.
Yeah. I think like 7 different Patriots quarter pass yesterday.
Hey, we touched something that you talked about yesterday mid-game, man. Let's give a shout-out to Leonard Fournette, man. I understand he was a beast coming out of college, but like you said, man, I don't know if I ever seen a player coming out of college and a rookie, just put their team on his back, man, through the playoffs. We got to give a shine of light on him for that, man. Like that's big. And he cared, man. He was really emotional after the game, man. was tough, but you know, it's looking like they're gonna be back, man. You know, the infamous Tom Brady can't last forever. I don't think you're gonna be playing till 50. So hold your head up, young boy.
Yeah, he definitely put them on his back. They wouldn't have even been in this game, I think, without his contributions. Yesterday he went for what 24 attempts for 76 yards.
Yeah, man. He's a beast.
Caught 2 passes. So yeah, he has a bright future ahead of him. You know, they didn't have a great quarterback play, so they needed him. I never really, like you said, we never really seen a rookie put their team on their back through the playoffs like that. Like, this is stuff you really see in basketball sometimes or something, you know.
So if you don't mind, briefly, what do you? I know we talked about it earlier. You know, when we were talking before. So what does the Jags do? What do the Jags do at this point? You know, they made it kind of further than anybody expected. So what do you think? What's going on with them? Like, you know, are they going to be committed to Bortles, or are they going to? Will he be looking for a new job this off season? You know,
you can't really because they won, and not to take nothing away from them. I mean, they played great this year, but it's not like they dominated. They went 11-5. Yeah. You got to look at the circumstances of the division around them. No Deshaun Watson or J.J. Watt, no Andrew Luck. Mariota was hurt for a few games.
That's true.
So their division is only going to get better next year. You can't really bank on just getting by, which they did this year, I think.
Yeah, that is true. True.
You got to go after a quarterback. Sorry to say, Blake Bortles, but, I mean, you did your thing. Your time is up.
Well, it all boils down to me. I got the pie in my face on this match. I take it. I take this one, you know, because they fought. I picked the Jags going against my usual rule. You know my rule. We've been around long enough. Don't bet against Brady. And once again, I put my, you know, I put my foot in my mouth because he proved it right again. You know, it's
yeah.
Seven playoff come from behind victories. 7.
You have to play 60 minutes of football against Bill Belichick.
He like the Jay-Z of football, man. You know, you got these young dudes just praying for him to retire. You know, like, just go away. It's crazy, man.
What did Jay-Z say? So I'm like Michael Jackson. I gotta stop playing with these children.
Yeah, it's crazy. There it is, man. Bars.
Second straight Super Bowl, representing the AFC. Super Bowl 52. All right, so now on to the later game, the NFC game, NFC Conference Championship, Minnesota Vikings at Philadelphia Eagles. And before we get into the actual game, I want to talk about the tone that the Vikings fans, I don't want to say the Vikings did, but their fans set a tone before the game. And they just made it where as though the Eagles almost had to win by 30. I said that. I think I said that. I'm like the Eagles got to beat them by 30 because what the Vikings did, their fans, not the Vikings, I'm sorry, their fans came to Philadelphia, took over the Rocky Steps 200 deep.
So disrespectful. So disrespectful.
Mocking the Dilly Dilly chant.
Oh, man. Oh, man.
Throwing purple and going on a Rocky statue. Like, you don't.
They went full-fledged arsenal on him with the disrespect. Like, disrespectful.
I can't say that, Eagles fans did get out of line with the Vikings fans down at the game. I hate that, they get like that.
Yeah, man. Philly. Let's talk about this. This is not the way. That's not the way you want to walk into the Super Bowl. I say us because I'm a local guy myself. Philly, we got to stop doing this. We got to stop being aggressive. We got to stop picking on people. I personally think that's why it's been so long that the Eagles have not won a championship. You can't go around throwing snowballs at Santa Claus and booing everybody that's available to boo. You can't keep doing. We gotta stick to the code of the city and give some brotherly love for once, maybe, and just hopefully that carries on and get us a parade around here. I'm not an Eagles fan, but I want a parade. Let's just say that. But let's get into the game.
All right, so the game starts, and the Vikings get the ball first, I believe. And surprisingly, they march right down the field and score. I think it was like a 25-yard pass to Rudolph. I mean, they went down the field rather fast. I think it was a 9-play drive, 4 minutes and 46 seconds, and you were like, whoa. Now this is the thing about the greatness, and shout out to Jim Schwartz and that defense. Shout out to Doug Peterson. They took their punch in the mouth after one hit. A lot of teams don't wake up until they're down, like the Steelers last week. Steelers, they went down 21-0 before they had to snap out of it.
Yeah.
And the Eagles took the Vikings' first jab, and they said, "Okay, you're not going to hit us no more." And that pretty much, in retrospect, that was it for the Vikings.
It was pretty much it. It's simple as that. As you said, man, if you would have saw the Vikings on that first drive, I mean, it was like chemistry and precision at its best. And
they were even running the ball. They even
ran the ball down the Eagles' throat with 2 running backs. They were spelling running backs. You say McKinnon. Oh man, like everybody had a piece. Everybody was getting a piece of the Eagles, and I was just like, wow. But at that point in time, I thought about it, and I said, you know what? I said, this is not the way it's going to happen. I said, you know what? I told I said, I didn't even say if. I said when. I said the Eagles are going to get a defensive score. And I didn't know it was going to be right away. I said the Eagles are going to get a defensive score, and the minute they get that defensive score, it is over. It's the Case Keenum show is a wrap. Zip him up, chalk him up, put him on. It's over. And I knew it. And the Eagles got a good play out of Chris Long to get his hand on him, and that was the end of the show. How do you feel about that play?
If you look at the interception,
yeah.
Oh, that was definitely shout out to the defensive line. That was definitely because of the front four getting in there and getting in his face, and there was some good blocking on the way back on the return that allowed him to get in there. If you look at the Vikings, the running backs, their final stats, you got McKinnon, he had 10 attempts for 40 yards. Murray had 6 for 18 yards. It almost felt like they all came on that first drive.
Yeah.
Not all, but, like most, like Murray had 18 yards. It felt like he got them on the first drive.
Yeah. Honestly, I think you might be right because, listen, you could have put those dudes on the milk carton for the rest of the game because it went from them two looking like Adrian Peterson reincarnated, and next thing you know, I didn't see another play. I personally don't recall another play for the rest of the game.
Well, McKinnon caught 11 passes, but that's because they had to abandon the run after a while. So McKinnon did catch 11 balls, but that's all Eagles were giving up was short. Yeah, they were giving up nothing. No chunks of yards down the field. The Vikings were just dinking and dunking their way into 3-and-outs and punts and turnovers. Case Keenum turned the ball over 3 times.
Yeah,
that definitely wasn't going to cut it.
And one gave up 7 points, man. Patrick Robinson using his blockers, man. That was just typical Eagles, man. The defense has been great all season long, And as we talked about it, a couple of games ago. These corners, man, they're not the best. They're not the best set of corners anybody's ever seen, but they get the job done, man. And I gotta respect them. I don't know if it's because of the front seven they have, because that front seven is second to none. Maybe it took this game for me to see it, because at one point I thought maybe the Vikings could compete with that front seven. Fletcher Cox is a man amongst boys, and he deserves every penny he has. Even when he don't get to the quarterback and get sacks, it's just obvious, man. The attention they had to pay to that man is ridiculous, man. You see 2-3 guys on one guy, and you see why, a player, like Barnett can come free, on and get a strip sack, or Chris Long can come free and deflect the pass and let the corners get a pick six, man. Because when you got a stud player inside like Fletcher Cox, man, it just helps the entire defense.
Vikings fans, the next time, you want to call yourself invading someone's city and historical monumental places and defacing statues.
So disrespectful.
Might want to think twice. You might want to have waited till after the game to do that.
Wow. You know what? They came out the game disrespect. They deserved it, man. They were disrespectful from the fans to the, I know you watched the pregame show. I know you've seen the the Vikings versus Eagles battle rap between DNA and Kayshawn. I know you took a look at that.
Yeah.
And they threw a bar, if I'm not mistaken, Kayshawn threw a bar out saying something about gonna send y'all back to the sidelines, just like Wentz, or where Wentz is at, or something like that.
Yeah.
Look, talking about low blow, they came out the gate on disrespect, skull fever. They were talking. So, hey man,
And I don't think we talked about Nick Foles yesterday.
We didn't.
Nick Foles, 26 for 33, 352 yards and 3 scores. He couldn't have been better.
That looked like the Nick Foles that threw 27 touchdowns to 2 interceptions. That's who that guy looked like. And I haven't seen him.
He threw 7 touchdowns in the game.
Yeah. It got so bad to the point where Fox sent out a report to the police, saying, a 6-foot guy is running around, throwing bullets, and please don't lock him up, because it was his full-fledged assault. It was wow. Against that Vikings defense, I didn't see it, man. I wouldn't even thought Carson Wentz would have been able to tear that defense up like Foles did yesterday, man. He was dropping dimes
amongst boys.
He was dropping dimes, and you know what? The game plan was simple: stay away from Xavier Rhodes. I don't know why quarterbacks feel like if you have a stud cornerback on a defense, and you know for a fact this guy puts receivers on the island, that means you have other people opened up. Go somewhere else. They don't have 2 stud corners, so you don't have to throw that Xavier Rhodes. And the Eagles took full advantage. Everywhere Rhodes was, they weren't. They went everywhere he was not at, and they took full advantage, from flea flicker passes to, just good, all over bombs, man. Like, they was dropping.
All right, we're back. Had some technical difficulties. Deezy, you there?
I'm here.
All right, so we're talking about Nick Foles and how phenomenal he was yesterday. And
yeah, he was good.
Yeah, like you were saying, the game plan was stay away from Xavier, and they did, and he was able to spread the ball around pretty good too. I think 7 different people caught passes, and then his touchdown passes. He had one for 53 yards, and another one for 41.
Yeah, it's man.
They were throwing bombs.
Not to mention the drop one, man. Can you imagine if early in the game, if Torrey Smith wouldn't have dropped that one pass, man, it might have been uglier than it already was.
Was that the first drive when they punted?
Yep, that was it.
I'm not even sure if they punted again after that. Maybe once.
38 unanswered points. 38 unanswered points after the Vikings came out and dropped the basically like just came in. The Vikings came out and took a dump on their backyard on the first drive, and I seen the Eagles fans with the sour face. It was not looking good for them. From there on, it was just it was madness. It was just like they just didn't stop. The Eagles they poured it on them.
So I think after they went up 21-7, after they went up 21-7, I think it was no turning that crowd down. They weren't going to quiet them. They wasn't making it any better for them, and it was just nothing they can do. They weren't ready. They weren't built and prepared to handle getting stomped on like that and be able to punch it back.
I mean, I can't say Keenum was in over his head, but as I thought it would be, he's not ready to be down in the playoffs by multiple scores and make a comeback. He's not that kind of quarterback. He's the kind of quarterback you need your defense to hold it down for him. Him to play for. He's good at playing from ahead. A score or two. He's good at that. That's his comfort level. But this was a different level for him, and it showed. He's a backup, and he probably will forever be a backup. But
so now we spoke about the Jags. They're in a quarterback situation.
Yeah.
Talking about the Vikings. Bridgewater already said, he definitely wants to start next year.
As he should. You shouldn't lose your starting spot to injury.
Right.
It's a weird situation because he lost his starting spot to injury. They brought in Bradford, and Bradford lost his starting spot to injury. And now you got Keenum here, who's a backup, a career backup. And the way I see it is, it's not really simple. I can't call it simple, but I think Keenum goes back to the bench. I think Bradford, you ship him out of here and get whatever you can. I don't know if he's a free agent or if he's been stealing money for years. I don't even go off topic, but he'll be fine. That man has been stealing money since he walked into this league. So, wherever he goes, he'll be just fine. I've never seen somebody make $100 million, never making a playoff game, always on the bench injured, riding the pine with a clipboard in his hand. Listen, I need to talk to him because I need some money tips because with this football bet now, I'm making some bad decisions and he's making all the right ones. So that's number one. But as far as Bradford, I think he goes somewhere else, finds a home. But I think Teddy's back in the starting spot. I think Case comes back as a backup unless he's unhappy, and then you ship him out of there because he's not a full-time starter. That defense held him down a lot. That's my opinion. What's your opinion on it, TD?
I can agree with that. I'm sitting here trying to think, like, where could Bradford end up? Like, who would actually be desperate enough to try to do that trade, if he's not available via free agency? The Browns are going to draft a quarterback. So maybe, they might bring him in to get a little quarterback competition going through training camp. I don't really see nobody else.
I mean, you got a lot. You got man. Yeah, the spots are they definitely.
You got the Jets maybe or the Bills.
You had the Jets,
really
the Bills. I could say, depending on what the Jags decide to do, they could possibly be looking into a new quarterback. The Giants could possibly be looking into a new quarterback. I think they're going in the draft, me personally.
Yeah, we'll see. But at the end of the day, Super Bowl 52 is set, and there's a rematch of Super Bowl 39, Patriots versus Eagles. I feel like the Eagles, this kind of got set up the same way as 2004 season. It's the Patriots' second straight year going. The Eagles had to beat the NFC North team and the Falcons to get there.
Yeah. Funny how things play out, right?
How about it?
Here I go.
The best
Here I
player
go.
Huh?
Go ahead.
No, I was going to say the best player on the Eagles is injured, even though, this time he won't be able to play at all.
Screw the best player. One thing that's another thing we fail to realize, man. And I get the Eagles a lot of trouble, mostly because of the fans. The fan base can be a bit, much sometimes. So I like to give them a hard time. But this Eagles team is tough. We forget. We talking about them losing their best player. They possibly could be out their top 4 players right now, or top three players. I don't think anybody will argue with Carson Wentz, Jason Peters, and Hicks being their top 3 players. That's who they are in my opinion. But you can say Fletcher Cox, but it's like Hicks is a beast. He was a beast, man, like all pro level beast. With the talent, but they lost a lot. Sproles. They got a lot of talent.
Of course, we're not going to get into predictions or whatever now, but you would have to think if they didn't win this year, they'll be right back.
Oh, absolutely. They coming back. They built for the future. I didn't even think they would be there this year, so kudos to them because I didn't see it. You couldn't have pitched this to me. I told you at the beginning of the season. No way you could have pitched it to me. I thought these linebackers and corners would get taken advantage of. Everybody knows that defensive line would be, especially with Schwartz. I thought the defensive line would be monsters. They're talented. Jernigan and Chris Long and Fletcher Cox and Vinnie Curry and Brandon Graham. The list goes on and on and on. They got talent on the line, but I thought the corners would be toast. Like, they surprised me. But what are we getting into? Are we talking Eagles, Patriots, or?
Well, we're going to save that for our Super Bowl prediction. We're going to call it our Super Bowl prediction Super Show.
Okay.
Okay. I got a couple of things I want to try for that. So yeah, I want to hop in full Super Bowl mode for this show. I'm not really in Super Bowl mode. It's not really who I wanted to see there, so I have to digest it personally.
Well, we're gonna talk about it. We're gonna get into it.
We definitely this is a very intriguing matchup.
Well, it's good. I mean, it's good to be here. Unfortunately, we switched the name, but I'm loving it. We here on the point after. We got a lot more fire to come. And we're gonna get into some good things, man. We're gonna get into some big things.
So that's it. Like you said, Super Bowl 52 is set. New England Patriots versus Philadelphia Eagles. 2 weeks. February 4th in Minnesota. And that's it. And that's our show for this week. You are once again on Compete Street. This is the point after, like Deezy just said. I'm TD Barry with my co-host Deezy. And
yes,
y'all
sir.
Be cool.
And we out of here.